Welcome everybody, New Joker 6 here. Today, let's talk about polarities. Now, what are polarities? Well, you may have seen me briefly mention these during the last two episodes, but today on Warframe Beginners, we're going to go over polarities, the different kinds, the importance, as well as what is Forma and why would you want to Forma. Now, I do want to try and keep these a little bit shorter because that first episode did go just about a half hour. Ugh, I know, that's long. Let's just jump right into it. A polarity. Oh, I did a little wormy. A polarity.
If I may say,
Yes, Orders?
Your chosen Warframe suits you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just get rid of all these now. Right off of here. Okay, so a polarity is these symbols here that you see in the top corners of some of your slots. Now, not all of these slots are going to have them. Some of them are going to be empty. Some of them are going to have a symbol in here. These are going to be Adrai, Mazarin, Nadaman, Zeneric, and there is another one, I think it's Uniti, something along those lines. They should have actually one of those mods somewhere, but maybe that's in a different section. It might be under just some of your companions. Anyways, point is, you have them on these, but you also have them in the top corners of your mods. Right where it also shows the capacity that mod is going to take up. Now, you see you have 60 out of 60, and if I were to take, say, right here, Energy Siphon, that's not going to be what. Well, okay, so you see Energy Siphon, it takes 7, whoops, and it is a dash polarity. Okay, now, in this case, it is an aura slot, which means it has to go up in here, in this spot here. You see, since this one is a dash, and the polarity on this is a V in this slot, that 7 is now, in this case, only a 5, because this is increasing the amount of capacity that you get. But if it were to be something like Steel Charge, that is going to double, because it matches. So if you have a matching polarity, a matching stance, well, not stance for melee weapons, but this is an aura because we're looking at the Warframe specifically. If you have a matching aura that matches your polarity, go ahead and throw it up there, even if that's not what you're going to use for your final build. Put it up there. It's going to be something. It's going to give you extra capacity. Put it up there. Now, that is good. It increases number, which is good for aura. However, for all your other slots, if we take a look at Steel Fiber here, that's taking 13 capacity, just being in a slot that has nothing. But if you put it in a slot where the polarities do not match, and by do not match, we're looking at the top corner here of the mod, as well as the polarity of that slot. If it doesn't match that 13, all of a sudden that 13 is now taking up 16 slots. 16! That is taking up more space than needed. In that case, it's better just to leave it on a blank slot because you're not using up as many spaces. You're not using as much capacity, which means you can put more mods on here. However, if you match the polarity, like you see in this slot right down here, all of a sudden that 13 just became a 7. It cuts that capacity right in half so you can fit more on here. So remember, always match polarities when you can, and always do it with things that need a lot of space. For example, we go that, get one of these, let's throw up this, and just like that, we're down to 8 slots with this. However, if we were to match all the polarities, we go from having 8 capacity left, all of a sudden to having 33 capacity now. 8 to 33. That's a huge difference. It's you can see just with that, just how important it is to match the polarities up. Very, very important. Now you might look at this and why can't I take that off? There we go. Now you might look at this and wonder why I've got so many of these, and your frame may not only have 1 or 2. Now the reason of that is because, aside from this frame being a prime, now when a frame has prime, they usually get 1 or 2 more polarities compared to the normal version of it, the standard version. However, you still need to put Forma in to make this better.
The system continues to fall into chaos. Check navigation for active invasions.
Yeah, thanks, Lotus. I'll get to it later. Now, Forma. What is it? Forma essentially allows you to add one of these symbols, or take one away, or move it to a different slot altogether. Now, I'm not going to do this, but I am going to show you. Now, if I were to go to Actions, Polarize, you see, these slots don't have it. It's completely empty. And so is this one. But I could go in here and I can go like this. I can just click in here until I find the symbol I need to fit my mods. Or as you see, completely empty. I can go in here, and since this one has a symbol here in the corner, it's going to change that to whatever I want here. Now in this case, this is completely empty. That means it's going to take this, and it's going to remove it, so there's going to be no polarity in this slot. Now of course, once I play like this, it means you're not going to change anything. You can do that with any of these, any slot. You can add them, take them, move them around. Now if you wanted to move them, though, you're going to use a Forma, but you're going to use this one. Swap polarity, and then you're just going to move them from one slot to another. But now you might ask, you're going to, okay, that you're going to use that to Forma, but where do you get Forma? Well, before we get to that, if you do polarize, by polarize I mean put a Forma onto it, and do remember that you are going to go back to being an unranked, and you can only put a Forma in once you're at rank 30. So if you've ever played something like Call of Duty, it would be like Prestige, and you get it up to max rank, and then you're going to put a Forma into it. That way you'll be able to put more mods onto it, but you're going to go back to being rank 0 and have to rank it back up again. So, that should cover what is Forma and why you should Forma. So, let's go and take a look at how to get Forma. So, how do you get Forma? Well, relics. Now, you're going to get these relics from doing things such as survival missions, excavation missions, defense missions, possibly mobile defense. Would you get them in that? I don't know, maybe. Or spy mission, if you were to get all 3 successfully. You have a chance at getting these. And you can get Lith, a Meso, Neo, or an Axie. So you don't know which one you get, but you're going to get one of these. And when you do, we just click on one of these. You'll see all the different rewards. And look, there's a Forma blueprint, and it's got some pretty good odds. It is a common drop. So look at this one. There's Forma there. There's no Forma in that one, so we wouldn't have any chance at a Forma. There's Forma in there, but it's a common. Or not common, it's an uncommon. There's more Forma there. There's Forma there. And as you see, Lith is probably some of the easiest relics to get. But they are also some of the easier missions because the enemy's going to be a much lower when it comes to actually using these. But just like clicking through here, you can see there's quite a few on here that give you Forma. Now, what reward you get is completely random, so you might get a Forma blueprint, you might not. And if you do get a blueprint out of that, then all you're going to do is just come over here to your foundry, go to your Forma. Mine's ready to claim. So I'm just going to claim that. Perfect timing. Because you're going to come in here, you have a blueprint, and then you're just going to build it provided that you have all the materials. 1 Morphix, 1 Knurled, 1 Oricon Cell, and 1 Neural Sensor. And of course 35,000 credits, and it's going to take 24 hours to build. So you're just going to click that, hit OK, and there you go. Now it does take 24 hours to build, unless, of course, I feel fancy, and you want to go ahead and spend 10 platinum to rush it. Now I usually don't rush anything, though I do need to start selling some things to actually get some plat back. Why did I have to be lazy and just spend it all? I need to set myself a cap. Not a cap, but a minimum that I always want to keep at all times. Oh well, as soon as prices go up, I'll be able to cash in on some of the things I've got. Anyways, so you can get Forma from that, from doing those. And in order, just for reference how to use those relics, you're going to come up here to your fissures. And based on what you have, so what we were looking at were the lith keys, or lith relics, and I showed you lith, meso, neo, axi. And as you see, that's very difficult, medium, and easy. It all comes down to basically what it is. A lith, you're looking at level 7 to 9, 13 to 15, 11 to 13. So 15 is probably the highest level you're going to see. And then we're looking up to things like meso, which we're starting to get into the 20s, neos into 30s, and the axi can go into the 40s. Now to use these, you would just simply click on it, on the one that you want to do, and then you see you can just go ahead, whichever that you want to use, click on it and hit equip. And you hit yes, and then you'll continue through and you'll do the fissure. I'll show you guys how to do fissures in another video. For now, we're just talking about Forma and the polarities. So that's one way that you can get Forma. Another way that you could get it is by keeping an eye out on alerts. Every now and then you may find an alert that could get Forma. Awesome, take advantage of that, go get it. I don't think they took that out, but I haven't been watching the alerts that close either, so they might have. If so, well, I guess there's not much we can do about that. Once you really get into it and you really start modding and you start getting things that are really strong, they're powerful, they can get the job done, you can come over to this section which are called sorties. Calm down, Ford. And as you see, it is possible to get a Forma as a reward out of this.
A new alert has begun. It will be
I understand,
marked on
Lotus.
navigation.
I see you can get a Forma. Now, when you complete all 3 of these, there are 3 difficult missions, as you see. 50 to 60, 65 to 80, and 80 to 100. And these change every day, as well as the condition and what type of mission and what it is you gotta do. But once you get through all 3 of those, you get 1 reward here, and it's completely random. As you see, I've got a check mark here. I got 4,000 endo, but you might get a Forma. You might get a catalyst blueprint, reactor blueprint. You can get anything here. So hopefully you get what you want out of that. Now, the last way that you can get Forma is through the market. Now, you can either get 1 for 20, which I don't recommend. If you really need to buy Forma and you really want to, go for the Forma bundle, where you get 3 of them for 35, as opposed to the other one, which is 1 for 20. You're spending an extra 15 plat, but you get an extra 2. So if you were to buy those singly, those would have been 60 plat individually. Or you buy the bundle here for 35 and you save yourself 25 plat. That's almost another bundle of 3. Almost. So that's what you would do there if you wanted to purchase the Forma. That's about the only ways you can get it, is through relics, possibly alerts, the sortie, and the market. And usually that's, if you get it from the market, then they're already going to be built. They're not going to be blueprints that you have to come over here and build. Same with the sortie, it is already built for you. But with the relics, it is going to be a blueprint. So keep that in mind. Make sure to always polarity, but, well, I'm not going to say always polarity, but always Forma when you need to. And what symbols you need to put there is going to very depend on your build. Now, what I am going to suggest is if you really want, you could take a look, do the math, write everything down yourself by hand, or you could go onto the website warframe-builder.com and you can look at what builds some people have done, what some people have. You can see what is some of the most popular builds, or you can go on there, pick a weapon, and start building it yourself. Putting a build together yourself, and you see, okay, well, this is what it's going to look like with my idea. And then you can decide from there if that's what you want to do. But to note, if you do use Warframe Builder, keep in mind that every build on there is going to have a catalyst installed when it comes to weapons, or a reactor installed when it comes to frames. So just keep that in mind. Now, in case like this weapon came with 0 polarities, so as you see, I've already used 2 Forma to put 2 V's in here. I'm probably going to put another V here, another V here, and then another V up here in this slot for my prime pistol gambit. Now I'll probably put a dash here. And that way I can cut everything in half. That way I can fit all of the mods on that I want to. But you see, until then, I'm not going to be able to, unfortunately. So I do have quite a ways to go for another 4 Forma for that. I might have to put another 5. So I'm going to have to put another 4 or 5 into it before I'm finished. So I'm going to have to finish ranking this up, put a Forma, rank it up again, Forma, rank it up again, Forma. It's going to take a while. By the way, I should actually switch this back before I forget to my build. So if you're curious, this is how I built my Ash. Now, of course, if you want to copy this, excellent, go for it. But keep in mind, this is not based around his 4. This is more based around his 2, his second ability, which is to keep him invisible. Now, keep in mind, if you are just starting out now, you're not going to have prime continuity, which is just fine. You can use just the normal continuity. It's not going to be as much. This is only plus 30%, and the one I'm using is plus 45. But it's still better than nothing. So, you can keep in mind with that if you see any of my builds here that you see primed versions of. Mods, so as we come back here, Target Cracker and Heated Charge. You can also get the normal versions of them very easily. Those are some mods that like you're gonna have normally. The prime mods you're gonna get from Borrow-Gatir, which we already did a video on that a couple days ago on what he has at that moment. Now he does bring something new every 2 weeks, so might bring something different, might bring something you need. But I'm just starting to ramble by this point. So with that, take care, have yourselves a good one, happy modding, keep this in mind with your Forma. Please don't waste a Forma by using a Forma in a wrong slot and using the wrong symbol. It's going to waste a Forma. You're going to have to take even longer to get the result that you want. But with that, enjoy, have yourselves a good one, happy modding, subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below. And take care. I'll see you guys next time. Later.